Welcome to our webinar this morning, and for the first time, we're doing this presentation under our new branding. So meet Improving IT, formerly Kirkhoff Technologies. And so here at Improving IT, we believe that everyone in every organization has the potential to succeed when given the tools and training to do so. And so by engaging in our community professionally, socially, and charitably, we can build trust and unlock the potential in everyone. That's what this series of webinars is about. Getting the most out of your Microsoft 365. A lot of organizations, they've got their Microsoft 365 and they look at it as just like their email and, you know, their desktop applications like, you know, Microsoft Word and Excel, maybe Microsoft Teams. But there's so much more to your Microsoft 365 than just those kind of base core products. And that's what this whole series of webinars is about. Showing you how you can expand capabilities inside of your organization using tools that you already have. Today, we're focusing on Microsoft Bookings. So Microsoft Bookings is used to simplify the process of managing interactions between your clients, customers, and your team members. It's integrated into Microsoft 365. It has lots of automated reminders and scheduling, and it works seamlessly with the other applications. And so we're going to go over how that works in a working demo today. So why Microsoft Bookings? Well, for one, it's part of what you're already paying for in your Microsoft 365 platform. A booking, of course, is a scheduling app that allows for easy scheduling between constituents, clients, customers, and staff that are able to provide services. Amongst all of these things, it's, you know, at a high level, it's got your ease of scheduling integrated with Microsoft 365, automated notifications, customizing, and it'll book virtual meetings. Specifically, those customized booking pages can be done for different areas of your organization with different services, with different team members. It allows for you to manage customers and clients inside of the Bookings app, and it can do staff management as well, complete with staff scheduling and, you know, availability. Service management, when services are available, when they're not, if there's a cost associated with them. It handles all of the notifications. It can send out automated emails. And of course, for your internal staff, it's going to show in their Outlook and Microsoft Teams. It is integrated deeply into everything that's part of Microsoft 365, so you can manage those. It's very accessible for management inside of Teams, inside of Outlook, inside of the Bookings app online. And of course, it does all of the virtual meetings if the services you're providing are just for the on camera. So we're going to get into a bit of a demo here. So I'm going to stop that camera and I'm going to turn on this one. And we're going to flip over to our Microsoft Bookings. All right, so to get to Microsoft Bookings, you're just going to outlook.office or outlook.office.com and going /bookings, and that'll bring you to the bookings page for your organization and you. And so here you can see in our bookings page, we've got our initial consultation, we've got a meeting with a couple of people, and then our general application form for a meeting. So what these wind up looking like, if I can pop that out. So in this particular case, this is kind of our overarching all general bookings page. And it's going to present a couple of different options as far as what to do. So these are 4 different services that we have available through our bookings. And this is tied into a calendar with myself and Kaya, our sales administrative assistant. And organizations can just simply select different time frames on it and a time that matches, and then ask some questions and so on and so forth. And of course, this is going to be tied. The availability is going to depend on what kind of time slots are available for the meeting. So that's a general bookings page. We've got another one here that's used for booking with both myself and Joshua, because sometimes me and my role as a CIO and Joshua, in his role as our president, need to meet together with an organization. And so in this particular case, this is another one, and it's based both off of the availability of both Joshua and myself in order to make one of those meetings. And then our initial consultation page has got a little bit of things that are different. And it's got a little bit more of a questionnaire because there's some more information that we want to be able to ask if somebody's looking for initial consultation with us. And so we've got a customized form specifically for that one. So that's kind of how we use Microsoft Bookings. So let's go ahead and create a demo. And we're just going to go ahead and create one from scratch. And we're going to call this webinar demo. All right, and so right here on this page, you can give it a customized name. And so this is for the whole organization. We're going to get specific services and things like that in there as we go through. So this is going to be IT support, and I'm going to add in a logo. And let's just grab, I want this one. No, I want that logo. So I'm going to grab that logo, and we can adjust the size and things to make sure it's where we want it to be. That's great. Okay, so now I'm going to hit next. And we're going to be able to invite some staff members to this. So, of course, let's invite Joshua. Joshua's going to come in. He's going to be a team member in this example. And I would really like Kaya to be able to come in, and Kaya's that manages all of our calendars and things like that. So she's going to be able to, work and make bookings and things like that. Whereas Joshua doesn't need to worry about getting into bookings. He just needs to be part of the conversation. And we're going to hit next. And so it's going to want to set up a service, and it's going to create a default service for you here. We can go ahead and leave that because we're going to change it later. And then you can choose who's going to be able to use this. So in no self-service, this means that only inside of the bookings application in Microsoft Teams or on the web is where you can use this bookings page. If you wanted to schedule bookings and things just with your internal organization, you can go ahead and do that. And then only team members from inside your organization are going to be able to use this bookings page. And anyone is probably the most common one where people are really going to want to use it. And this allows for anybody in any organization. It's just going to be a public link that's out there on the internet for anybody to use. And so that's the one we're going to choose for this demo. So it's going to take a minute, and it's going to get this set up. This takes about 30, 40 seconds. In the meantime, while this is going on, if you've got any questions or anything, do put them in the chat. Joshua's monitoring that, and we'll get to them at the end of the webinar. All right, so there we go. So now we've got our bookings page, and right away, we've already got that public link where somebody can come in. And the way this is set up right now is people can select any one of the staff members. But we're going to want to trim that down a little bit and put in some specialized services and things around that, because we don't want people to be able to meet with Kaya directly. If you have a whole staff list and you don't specify anything else and somebody chooses anyone, the Bookings app is going to look at everybody's availability across the entire team and automatically select a staff member that has availability when the customer would like to book. All right, so let's get started with our bookings, and let's take a look at what this winds up looking like from a management screen. So this is where somebody inside of your organization, so for example, Kaya and her role that we've given an example here, she would be able to see this screen, and she would be able to manage the bookings directly here from Microsoft Bookings without using the forms. And so she'd be able to create a new booking, select the staff member, and put in the customer's information manually if she was, say, taking an appointment over the telephone. So that would be kind of for internal use if you're just managing the calendars that way. But we want to get a little bit more specific on this. And so we're going to come into the services and IT support. Well, I mean, IT support's great, but we don't really book for IT support. We book for IT consultations and assessments. So let's go, let's call this, let's see, service review. So we're going to call this one a service review, and it's going to take an hour because we're not going over somebody's whole system in just 30 minutes. I'm going to choose some buffer time on this. And what this means is that it's an amount of space that I want before and after this meeting. So in order to get ready for this meeting, I want to make sure that I've got a good solid 30 minutes to prep for the client meeting. And I'm going to give myself 15 minutes to prep after the meeting. Okay. And so this is going to have two separate calendar invites. The calendar invite in my calendar is going to be for an hour and 45 minutes because it's 1 hour for the meeting with 30 minutes before and 15 minutes after. So if you've got a service industry where maybe you need to do some prep work, you need to do some cleanup afterwards or anything like that, whatever you need, you can set those buffer times. And your staff member internally is going to get those buffers in their calendar. But the link that's sent to the customer is just going to be for that 1 hour session at the time of the booking. In this particular thing, this doesn't have a price. We're just doing a consultation for free. The maximum number of attendees is just like, can multiple people come into a session? So say you're doing a group session. I don't know, maybe like a group counseling session or something like that, where maybe 5 or 6 people can all join that particular session. So you would be able to allow multiple people to overlap if that was the case. And this option here just lets customers manage their appointments once it's been booked, if it's booked on their behalf. So if Kaya schedules a meeting, we want the customers to still be able to come in and make changes if they need to cancel it or reschedule. The availability options, you can choose various kind of time increments when it's going to be. The maximum lead time, I'm going to set this to 12 hours because I'm fine with people booking the next day, but I don't really want people booking more than a month out in advance. That's just too far out. So I'm going to say that people can book up to 12 hours in advance and up to 30 days into the future. If this service needs a specialized calendar, you can go ahead and do that. Otherwise, it's going to be based off of the business's default calendars that we can set up. I'll show you where that happens. That's just if you turn on the default scheduling policy. If you need to set different availabilities or special ranges, maybe you need to put in on Wednesdays, you need to put in a break for lunch that's not part of your calendar. Assign staff. So in this particular case, this service is only going to be me. I'm the only person that's going to be meeting with somebody in this particular service. And so we're going to say that it's all of the assigned staff are part of this appointment, but it's just me, so that's all right. Custom fields, and this is where you can start to create custom forms. And so I'm going to ask for the email, and a phone number is totally required. This is going to be a virtual meeting, so I don't need an address. And we're going to have some customer notes where they can put in their own information if they want to specify something. And guest emails is a great new feature that allows the person filling out the form to add in additional staff members or people that might want to join the meeting. Previously, one person would book, and then that person, when they got the invite, would forward it off to other people on their team if they needed multiple people. Now they can put those emails directly in and everybody gets their own invite. You can still do it through forwarding if you need to. So notifications, you can do text-based notifications, but this does require a Microsoft Teams Premium license. If you don't have this feature, that's okay. We can still do all of this through traditional email reminders and things like that. So by default, it's going to create that email confirmation, and you can put in a custom message if you'd like. I want to put in some additional reminders here. I just want to make sure that a day before the appointment, there's a message that goes out to the customer. that's got an appointment coming up. Appointment's coming up tomorrow. That's great. And I'll save that one. And then I also want to do another reminder 1 hour before, and we're just going to leave the default message on that one. So now my customer is going to get an email the day before the appointment, as well as an email an hour before the appointment. So that way, if maybe they booked it a week in advance, and now they've got something where they're double booked, it'll remind them to cancel that meeting if they need to, or reschedule it. Email follow-up is just a great way to collect some feedback. You can create a customized message. So maybe an hour afterwards, we're going to send it to the customer. Or maybe you want to send that to an internal staff member that was tied to the meeting, reminding them to do their follow-ups or something. Or you can send something to both. It's just a really nice little welcome message. This service doesn't really need that, so we're not going to worry about a follow-up. Great. So I'm going to go ahead and save the changes to that. And so now we've wound up creating a new service in our bookings that's just for booking with me, that Kaya would be able to come in here and do some management around if she needs to. She could book items over the phone, but it's just me and my calendar that the availability is going to be based off of. And it's really straightforward to make those kinds of changes. If we wanted to make sure that Kaya was always on one of those meetings in order to come in and take notes and things like that with it, we can just come in, assign the staff, and we can put her on there. And this is still set, so all of the available staff need to be part of it. So this is going to be a mix of both of our calendars to make sure we're both available to take this meeting. Now, although we had that main bookings page that we showed that had that one service, every single service inside of bookings has its own individual link as well. So any changes we make to the service will show up on this page. All of the services combined will show up on this page, but we've only got one service. So let's go ahead and add a new one. So we're going to add a new service, and then we're going to call this one group meeting with improving IT. And so this is going to be an online meeting as well. It's just going to be a 30-minute meeting, one attendee, and we're going to let people do their stuff. Availability options is going to be in the same thing. We still want people to book in advance and no more than 30 days. And it's bookable when staff are free, no matter what. The assigned staff for this, we're going to say it's, again, all staff. And this one is going to be Joshua and myself. So people are going to be able to see that. If we didn't want that, we could just simply turn that off. But that would be more if you're automatically assigning staff members out to people. Same kind of thing. We can look at our customer fields. We just still want a phone and email. Nothing else here is really, oh, there we go, really relevant. Same kind of notifications. We've got that one day before. We're not going to worry about a follow-up. And I just want to get an email out 1 hour before as well. So there we go. So now when I go back to the main booking page for the whole organization, I'm going to end up with multiple services there that people could be able to select from. But maybe that might be more confusing than you want to when they're very, very different kinds of services. So as we noted, each one of these services winds up with its own link. So we would be able to send an email out saying, hey, you're meeting with Joshua and Isabel. Here's a link to our joint calendar. And that will show for the availability of both Joshua and myself. And as you can see, there's a lot less availability here because, we have quite overlapping calendars. But without that on there, people can choose between the different services in that way. You can create as many of these different kinds of booking services and bookings themselves. So as noted here, this is just now one more booking that we have in our selection of bookings that we have available to us. So you can manage it depending on what your organization needs between one-page booking with multiple services, as well as individual services per bookings. You can embed these forms directly into your existing website or some other location. So if you've got an iframe on a contact us page inside of your web or your website, you can go ahead and do that, and people will be able to book directly inside of your website, inside of Microsoft Bookings. Customers can be used if you want to limit the number of people that can actually use your service. So you can keep track of customers here and create information and just kind of records and history for those people. It's not really a CRM, but I mean, it has a really rudimentary CRM capabilities in it. If you wanted people to have to sign up first in order to book, or if you wanted to know who it was and keep a little bit of history about the service, you've got more options always to kind of come in here and set some defaults for both your organization. If you wanted to link to a privacy policy and terms and conditions, you can go ahead and do that. You can set the default business hours, so forth and so forth. And there's lots and lots of different kinds of integrations and things you can do, particularly with Power Automate, to create some automated workflows. So we talked a little bit about Power Automate in some previous webinars. That might be a candidate for the next one. We were going to see if the people had opinions on that. So anyways, that is a really quick overview of Microsoft Bookings, and these can be, there's a lot of advanced capabilities that you can reach out and talk to us about. We've done everything from creating, just standard bookings pages, really well orchestrated for individuals and organizations, all the way up to, like one of our customers has the calendar posted for a service that they offer directly on their public-facing website. So people can not only go on and book in there, but they can also see a month-long view of where that service is going to be provided in the community. So that's another example of advanced capabilities inside of this. All right. So if we're going to come back around, that kind of concludes our demonstration. So I work with improving IT on this. Well, our customers love us. Here's a great quote from Lorraine Wild from Squale First Nations, and this is an organization that we really worked a lot with on modernizing their infrastructure. They were very kind of historical, classical infrastructure, on-premises servers, aging infrastructure. And so we were able to come in and really help them modernize their workplace with the Microsoft 365 Modern Workplace platform. If you want to go over any of this information and things like that, do send us an email, hello@improvingit.ca, or visit our website. You can fill out forms and book online directly there. Joshua, do we have any questions? There we go. Sorry about that. Is there a way to invite multiple customers and have them vote on the best time and send an invite with the most votes? Okay. Yes, but no. So that feature does exist inside of the Microsoft Office platform. It does not specifically for bookings in this way. So what you can do, I did show where you can invite multiple people. You can put in additional email addresses and things like that. But there isn't a voting or polling option in this interface for Microsoft Bookings. But that is a feature that is part of your default Microsoft 365 inside of Outlook, particularly Outlook web-based or the new Outlook. So you do have those capabilities in the platform, not in bookings at this time, but that's a great feature request. All right, any other questions? No problem, Maria. Very good. All right. So moving right along, our next webinar is on, you decide. We're going to be putting out a polling on LinkedIn and Facebook. We've gone through many of these different Microsoft 365 apps. We're coming down to some pretty unique ones like Power Apps or Stream or Sway. And so we're going to be asking out on social media what we want our next webinar to be. That will be on March 26th at 11 Pacific, same time as always. So feel free to reply to this email or reply to the follow-up to this webinar and watch for our posts on social media about the next one. In the meantime, if you've got any questions about any of the services that we offer around anything to do with your IT services for Microsoft 365 or any of it, how does cloud computing work in your small business or small community organization, let us know. Reach out to us, hello@improvingit.ca. Visit us online. You can fill out a bookings and everything directly on there. You can give us a call anytime during business hours, I guess. You can follow us on LinkedIn. We post about the webinar, we post newsletters, all kinds of different things. I'm a people person. Reach out and connect with me directly on LinkedIn. I would love to hear from you and answer any questions you have there. In the meantime, thank you for joining us today. I hope you found this useful, and we'll see you next month.